Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't she tell me? Why didn't somebody tell me that they've seen demons in my house? What's up, guys? So welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hi. You guys have been amazing. I've gotten so many new subscribers in the last few days, which is really, really cool because just as cool. You guys are cool. So today I'm house sitting and well, okay, first disclaimer. I know that these types of videos are really trendy on YouTube, and so why wouldn't I just hop on the bandwagon, do something trendy? But this is actually a real story, 150% true. I'm not making it up. It happened. I actually wish it hadn't happened because I'd feel a lot better about life if it hadn't happened. But it did happen. So since I'm not in my own house, I thought it would be the perfect time to tell you guys this story. So a little bit of background, I'm living in a house currently that my grandparents own, and I've been living there for almost 3 years, I think now, but it's not the first time that I lived there. When my parents were getting a divorce when I was probably like 11, we moved in there. My mom and the 4 of us kids moved into this house during that whole process as like a temporary living space. And during that time when we were living there, I would have sworn that the house was haunted. Like, I knew it was haunted for sure, had to be haunted. I felt cold all the time. I felt things, I saw things. But then again, I was like 11 and I was like, I'm just literally, you know, imagining things. I'm kind of crazy. So I kind of brushed it off as having like a really big imagination, but even so, some nights I would get so creeped out, or even during the day I would actually walk down the road to my grandparents' house and like sleep at their house sometimes, or it just kind of depended on the day and like how I was feeling in the house. But weird stuff happened in that house and I always felt like it was haunted or like something evil was there. So fast forward to the point now, I've been living in that house, like I said, for almost 3 years. And when I moved back in, I'd had these like negative thoughts about moving back in there. I was like, oh, this was the house where I had all these. But then I was like, no, as a child, I must have just been like, you know how kids are. You have a big imagination as a child, or you didn't and you were a boring child. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna give it another chance, go back in there, we're gonna see what happens. So, moved back in the house, absolutely felt 100% fine, everything felt good, but the back bedroom. The back bedroom has always had this slightly like creepy feel to it, but I always just thought it was because the back of the house hits this like forest with ivy, and it's like literally there's like a foot and then you've got forest behind the back of the house. So I, in my mind, even as an adult, was kind of like, well, the back bedroom is just kind of creepy because behind the house is creepy. So when I walk back to the back bedroom, it makes it creepy for me. Do you know what I mean? So it felt creepy still, but I was like, the whole house didn't feel as sinister as it had when I was growing up or had lived there previous, because we only lived there for like a year. So that's how kind of things were up until a couple of months ago. And a couple of months ago, I started to see some weird things happen in the house. Things started like falling off shelves. It was really cold in certain areas. I kind of felt like presences in certain areas. Things fell off of like my dresser. Things were being moved around or disappearing, or things I hadn't seen in a long time were appearing, or just things I'd never seen were appearing. And it was kind of like this thing where I was like, I'm just imagining things. I've lived here for almost 3 years and nothing has happened. I still have like these weird chilly vibes about the back bedroom, but other than that, it's just kind of me probably. So I just ignored it until one night when I was working, and I was sitting in my living room working, and it was like probably 1 a.m. or something, and my dog was by my feet, and we were just chilling. I was working, and all of a sudden my dog growls, and at the same time she growls, I feel this like chilly presence like moving across the room on the right side of me, and it was like an ice cold presence, and I immediately am super freaked out, but immediately I'm just like, Kelsey, it's just your imagination. So I'm like, you need to just calm yourself. So we stay there, we keep working, as if my dog's working with me. I keep working and she keeps growling, and I look down and I look at her and she's watching where I kind of feel the coldness moving, if that makes sense. So like I feel it moving this way and then it like turns, and I watch her eyes like watch it going that way and turn. It was so creepy because it was like in sync with what I was feeling, and she was like growling, and then she just looked super scared. Like she stopped growling and she hopped up on me and she was just like petrified, and I was still feeling this like really cold presence, or like a presence moving across the room. And so now I'm like still thinking that I'm imagining things, but I'm like, okay, you know what? We're gonna just pick up and go to my bedroom and we're gonna go to sleep because tomorrow this will all be better, it will all be done, everything will be good. So I get my laptop and I'm like, all right, Kelly, come on. And so she follows me. We go into the room, and the whole time she's just like really, really skittish and scared. We go into my bedroom and I get in bed and I'm like, you know what? Now I freaked myself out. And let me just explain something really quick. When I was a little kid and I used to freak myself out, the first thing I would do would be to like watch cartoons or just like kids shows that there's nothing scary at all, just to take your mind off of it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to there. I'm gonna pull up some old like 90s cartoons, 90s shows, and I'm gonna unwind that way. So I just went ahead and I pulled my laptop up with me and I pulled up, I don't even remember what, it's probably like SpongeBob or something. I don't care. I'll watch anything, honestly, as long as it's not scary. I'm there. So as I'm watching this kids show, my dog is like literally just sitting right next to me and she's terrified still and she's just like looking all around and I'm just like, Callie, you're imagining things. And I'm like petting her and I'm like, you're just an imaginative dog like your mama. But then as I'm sitting there watching my show or whatever, I start to feel that same presence come into the room through the door and start to move across the wall. So I'm like, okay, I have an idea. Animals can tell when you're afraid, right? And you gotta just like not be afraid of them. So I'm just gonna not be afraid, and then if there is something, it won't know that I'm afraid, and maybe it'll just leave. I don't know why that came up as like a thought in my brain, but I was like, I'm just gonna keep watching cartoons and just like pretend like I don't know it's here and just chill. Because at this point, this is real, but I'm gonna pretend like it's not real. Do you know what I mean? So I am completely pretending that this is not happening, and I'm just petting my dog and being like, you're crazy, Callie. And she just starts to growl and like watch where I am feeling the coldness go in through the room. So as I'm feeling this presence moving across the wall, I'm just like, what am I gonna do? So I clearly started singing like songs from when you were a kid growing up and your Christian grandmother was like, you're gonna learn Jesus loves me. I was singing Jesus loves me. I was singing Jesus loves little children. I was singing all sorts of songs and praying, and I basically just stayed up all night watching cartoons, singing songs, praying, reassuring my dog. The next morning I was exhausted and I went to my grandparents' house, took a nap, and then I went and like worked and everything and got back home, and basically it was a repeat of the previous night. Weird cold feelings, my dog's freaking out, watching the same places that I'm feeling the cold feelings coming from. Then I stay up all night, watch cartoons, praying, singing kids' Bible songs, wash and repeat. Is it wash and repeat? Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. So finally I am like, this is getting ridiculous. This is going on and on and on, and it needs to stop. So I am like, we are going to bed tonight, Kelly. We are going to turn off at least a quarter of the lights. We'll leave the rest on because I need them, and we're gonna try to sleep. It honestly didn't really happen. We went to sleep. She woke me up like maybe an hour later growling and was like freaked out. So I turned on my bedside like lamp because I had a little like night light in there and my other lights in my house were on. I wasn't kidding. I really did leave on like most of the lights in my house. But I turned on my bedside light, and this time I actually see a like dark figure, like a shadow figure moving across the walls. And I'm like, no. I literally got my laptop, I got my dog, and I think I got like my cell phone, like some things. I got some things together and I walked down the road in the dark to my grandparents' house because they just live like down the road from me, and I slept at their house. I was like, I can't do it. I'm sleeping at somebody else's house. The entire time that this was all happening, I didn't tell anybody about it. I didn't tell my family about it because I kind of thought that I was crazy. In fact, I know some of you guys are gonna be like, this story's fake, but like I kind of felt like I was just crazy. I was like, nobody's gonna believe that I'm seeing things like this in my house, or like these things are happening. Like, I must be crazy, you know? But then I also knew that I wasn't crazy. So I sleep over at my grandparents, go back to my house, and things seem to be okay-ish. Like, no creepy feelings, no shadow creatures. So I start sleeping over there again, and after a few days, things kind of go back to normal. And I'm like, you know what? It was all in my brain. It was all imaginary. So I randomly just mentioned to my sister offhand, I was like, you're not going to believe what happened. This is so funny. Because I wanted somebody to tell me that I was being ridiculous. You know what I mean? So I tell her, I'm like, you're not going to believe what happened. I was just being so silly. Like, I thought that there was a demon in my house. I thought that there were some evil spirits in my house. And so I'm telling her this, and she's not laughing. She doesn't think it's funny. She's just like staring at me, and I'm like, what, why? And she goes, Kelsey, Mom said she saw a demon in your house. Like, what? And I was like, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't she tell me? Why didn't somebody tell me that they've seen demons in my house? And my sister tells me, well, she didn't want to freak you out. And I'm like, who sees demons? Like, we've never, let me just say, we have never in my family talked about seeing anything paranormal. We've never even talked about the paranormal. I mean, we're all Christians. We believe in, like, God and higher powers and stuff like that. But we've never had a conversation about, like, the paranormal, about all of that stuff. This was the first time that we'd ever talked about it. And so I asked my sister, I'm like, well, what do you, like, what, was she joking? Like, what? And my sister's like, no, she's, like, really serious, and she's been praying for your house. And I was like, okay, well, tell me what she saw. And so my sister said, well, she told me that she went to your house to grab something, because my mom has a key, which is, by the way, it's a bad idea to give your parents a key to your house, but she goes in, she's doing something, and then she decided to use your bathroom. So she goes back to your bathroom, which is by the back bedroom, which is the only bedroom in the house, so that's where I was sleeping. And she said, as she was going to the bathroom, she saw a demon, like a full-bodied demon, walk into your bedroom. So now at this point, I am interrogating my sister about dates, times, when did this happen, when did she tell you about this, because I want to know if this is happening around the same time I was feeling things in the house, and it all ended up matching up. So then I go to my mom, and she's telling me, like, basically the same thing my sister told me, and I'm like, why didn't you tell me? And she's like, well, I didn't want to freak you out, and I've been praying for your house, and, like, I've been praying for my house too. Turns out that my mom has always, like, seen and felt demons as well, and, like, also, like, angels, like, she can feel and sometimes see positive and negative spirits, and my sisters can as well. So we started talking about it, and all of us had had these really negative experiences and feelings with this particular house in the back bedroom. And I did not say anything. I mean, my mom did say she saw the demon go into the back bedroom, so we all kind of knew that. But I did not say anything about, like, it being in the back bedroom. My mom didn't really say that she only felt it in the back bedroom. But when we started talking, we found out we all felt it in the same place, in the same, like, areas of the house. I think we all kind of thought we were crazy. And then this kind of verified that we weren't all crazy. I don't know, and I'm sure some of y'all gonna think we're crazy. Like, our whole family needs to go and be put in the house. So that was my paranormal haunted house experience. You can probably tell by now why I didn't want to do it in my own house, because it still to this day freaks me out even talking about it in my house, even thinking about it in my house, especially at night. I thought it would make a good story, so I hope you guys liked it. And if you did, it'd be awesome if you could give me a thumbs up, and also subscribe if you're new to my channel. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys!